Hello, and welcome back to the Spoiler Cast. Ooh, the Spooky Spoiler Cast. The show where we talk about spooky movies, and we don't care if we spooky spoil them. Here in this Spooktober. My name is Tobias, and with me as always is my sister and trusty co-host, my spooky co-host, damn it, Rebecca.
Hello.
Hello. And yes, we're still in October, which means we're still doing horror movies. And we're doing one that we initially were like kind of interested in for the clicks. Then we kind of like, we're going to do something else. But now the well is starting to run dry of interesting horror movies. So we kind of went back to it. Also, just want to say, if you want to get even more spooky spoiler casts, there is, of course, patreon.com/don'tmakeascene.
You know, like the YouTube channel.
Yeah, where we release exclusive episodes every week. But enough of that. Today, we're talking about Smile. Yes. The 2022
What's
horror
his name?
movie.
Parker Finn.
Completely
new guy, more or less.
Completely new guy. It came out of nowhere. I saw the initial trailer and I was like, this looks like garbage. Because
this looks like Truth or Dare from a couple of years ago.
Yes, first of all, Truth or Dare, because they also smiled. All the creepy demon
for some
people
reason
smiled in that movie. Which I never saw that, but wink, nudge, nudge, we're gonna.
Yeah.
That's the Patreon episode for next week. So
if you want to see that,
patreon.com/don'tmakeascene. But then people started saying like, this is actually a good movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, should we check it out? And that's when we decided not to, but then here we are anyway.
Yeah.
And I've actually, for the most part, heard either like, at least like okay to good reviews for this movie.
Yes.
I think
it has a Metascore of 68.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. And a average of 3.1 stars on Letterboxd.
3.8?
Oh, sorry, 3.1.
Oh, okay.
And a 6.9 on IMDb.
Yeah. Yeah, people seem to like this.
It's slightly above average, you know?
Yeah. And I think the first thing, before we even get into what we think of the movie, because I think I know what you think. We'll see.
You got a tiny hint just before we started recording this.
The first thing that made people like this, I think, is that it is R-rated.
Oh, that's true.
Which I don't really know why, because there's not that much gore and violence in it. They could have just like dialed it down a smidge. I think, and it would have been PG-13.
Yeah, I think it's the amount of blood in certain scenes and the fact that it has to do with suicides. It's probably,
I suppose. Yeah.
I remember which one. I watched a couple of reviews just before this, and one of them had like a trigger warning actually for mention of suicide. So I mean,
Jesus, okay.
It's a YouTube. It's a YouTube trigger warning, not the channel itself.
Oh,
like YouTube put it on
Jesus.
there.
All right.
So
that's probably because they mentioned a bunch.
Yeah. So maybe it's a sensitive subject. I mean, it is a sensitive subject, but
of course,
I agree. I'm not sure I would have rated this R, really.
No, if they just toned down the blood a little bit, they could have easily been PG-13.
Yeah. And they could have easily toned down the blood.
Yes. The second thing that I think people was like, oh, wow, is that it kind of reminds you of a silly jump scare movie from like early 2010s or mid 2000s.
Yeah.
This is very reminiscent of like, you mentioned Truth or Dare, all the early Blumhouse movies.
Yeah, it made me think even though I haven't actually seen it, it made me think of It Follows and like, what's it called? Like Lights Out? Remember that one?
Yeah, well, you've seen Lights Out.
I've seen Lights Out, but I haven't seen It Follows. But I know what It Follows is sort of.
Well, yeah, I was going to bring that up later. This is very reminiscent of It Follows. We'll talk about that later.
Right.
And, and movies like, not because they're more like about demons and ghosts, but, they're kind of like James Wan's movies, Insidious, The Conjuring, where it's, it's very jump scare heavy.
Yes.
And, all those silly exorcism movies, which were all just jump scare,
Yeah.
It's one of those, it feels like a cheapo, like $30 million, take the money and run horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, it's like, it's being praised.
Yeah.
And I think that's why, because people are kind of clamoring for a good old-fashioned jump scare movie, because we don't really get that nowadays.
We get the cheap, like, cop-out jump scares, or just too many, desensitizing the movie.
Yeah, what we get nowadays are, first of all, the quote-unquote, bad word, I know, quote-unquote, elevated horror, is what we get a lot with A24, and even other studios are starting to dabble in elevated horror. Or we get the really trashy ones. Like, I watched a movie called The Accursed the other day, and it was fucking terrible, even though the trailer made it look cool. We don't get those, like, middle of the road, The Last Exorcism or Lights Out or movies like that anymore. We
haven't had that in a while.
Yeah, so people are, I think, a little bit nostalgic for just a fun popcorn scare.
Yeah.
However, I gotta say, well, no, I'm gonna do this the right way. What did you think of it?
I don't like it. I don't get it. It's boring. It's predictable. And stupid. I do not agree with anyone I've seen review this or written a review of it. I think this is one of the dumbest and most boring horror films I've seen in a while.
Whoa, dude, we saw Halloween Ends last week.
Oh, yeah, sure, but at least that one was sort of entertaining.
Yeah, that's true, and yeah,
it had some good points.
The whole storyline was good.
Yeah. This one has
really good, actually.
Nothing.
Yeah,
it has one of my it's one of my like favorite what's it called, like unappreciated actors.
Kyle
you
Gallner?
Don't see that often, but he's really good.
Yes, Kyle Gallner. Oh, I gotta say, it's been a while, but damn, did I get a man crush on him? He's a fucking smack in this movie.
But he's like always been that, and he's not in a lot of movies. I don't get it.
I've always thought of him because I remember him from when he was much younger, doing a bunch of movies.
I remember him from Smallville, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah, but I
think
I saw him
that's like
that.
the main. I remember him.
Yeah,
and then of course Jennifer's Body when he plays the emo boy.
Yeah, sure, yeah, but here he's more grown up. I haven't seen him in a new movie in a while. He has the little goatee and the mustache, and I was like, hey, I'm straight, but goddamn,
He is in Scream where he played like the bad boyfriend in like 2 scenes.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, but he was such an asshole. I couldn't appreciate him there. and he's
in like 2 scenes. It's not enough.
But yeah, and beyond just being eye candy, he was good. For what little screen time. Once again, way too little screen time.
Yeah.
He should have been, because they had the boyfriend or the fiance, and then they had the cop / ex-boyfriend, which that went nowhere. And in the end, the fiance just disappeared, and Kyle Gallner took over that role as the ex-boyfriend. I don't know why.
Well, he was the ex-boyfriend, but there was no point to have two boyfriends, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly. 2 male counterparts. It should have just been him from the beginning.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I mean, we also had Cal Penn playing Dr. Morgan.
Yeah, once again.
Again, another male actor or character being like concerned for our leading lady. So unnecessary to have 3 like male characters being so concerned about the female lead. It felt they kind of superfluous.
They filled the same purpose. They could have just kept one of them. And my vote would then be for Kyle Gallner, since he's there at the end. It feels more right that he would have been through the entire movie, and that would have had their little like strained relationship, because
we could have had the hesitation, and I don't really understand why you're going through this, but then the good boyfriend kind of arc going into, you know what, I'm gonna trust you, and I'm gonna help you, instead of just disappearing.
Because slight spoilers, we're gonna. There's not much to spoil here anyway.
No, that's.
Like he is the one she confides in anyway, not her real fiance. So when he just disappears and then Kyle Gallner takes over, I'm like, why wasn't he just here for the entire movie?
Yeah,
this is dumb. I don't know. Anyway,
it's splitting up the boyfriend arc
into 2 characters. almost
for
3
no
with
reason.
Cal Penn. Yeah, for no
Yeah.
reason. Yeah. So, and I agree with you to some part, but I did enjoy it. I'm going to say I enjoyed it somewhat. I didn't think it was terrible, but it was
terrible.
But like I said, it was
not good.
It was very reminiscent of those early 2000s popcorn scare movies, where the main driving force is just how many times can we go woo, so the audience jumps.
Basically,
yeah.
Or in this case, I guess not jump scares per se, but creep you out.
Yeah, well, there are a bunch of jump scares.
There are a bunch of jump
towards
scares. I didn't find. I found one effective, and I think it was the first one.
Well, I gotta
the rest
say,
is like meh.
Because of our,
it also has to do with how we watched it, probably.
Yes, I was gonna say that because of our schedule, we weren't able to watch it in the perfect conditions. So I saw it on my phone during my lunch break and on my commute to and from work. Which, yeah, it's not the perfect place to, experience a movie, but it's what we had to work with in order to record it in time. But I still jumped at a couple of them. But I'm so desensitized to jump scares that I don't think it would have made a big difference to watch it on like a TV or in the cinema.
I might have to rewatch it when I can get it on a bigger screen or something. Just to, enhance the qualities and everything. And maybe I'll appreciate it a bit more. But, because someone mentioned that there were, details they liked with, how they colored things and shit. And I was like, yeah, but no.
I did notice those. That there were a lot of, color shifts. When...
Well, she pointed out, the sisters had 2 different colors. One of them were always wearing pink. And the other one was always wearing blue. Yeah. And then towards the end, that kind of disappeared, but...
Not really. The last scene, the sister's in, she's wearing a pink, Angora sweater or something. Yeah, a shirt. Yeah.
A sweater, yeah.
Sweater, yeah.
And also, it didn't serve a purpose, really?
No, it's just a detail that...
Only
cool
in the scenes where they were together.
Yeah, it didn't really add much.
No.
Other than, they had 2 different perspectives on, the family tragedy.
Yeah.
But
also they didn't follow that coloring completely, because just looking at screenshots on IMDb, the hospital where the main character works is pink.
Yeah, I know.
So that completely failed. It should have been all blue, but no, so it defeats the purpose if they were color blocking it that way.
Yeah.
And then everything basically towards the end is just an orange tint. So I don't know. It's all just beige and orange by the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. So fuck it.
But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that it wasn't only jump scares. There was a little bit of her trying to figure it out. But
sure, I appreciated that.
Yeah, but ultimately we didn't really get much.
No.
We got no explanation, which, that's fine. But it's also
I came up with my own solution also, but
in a movie like this, you kind of want a little bit, because we don't have much else, so could we at least get an explanation?
Yeah, we had the same issue with Grim Cuddy. We got
exactly.
sort of an origin, but we didn't really get the origin. We got where this instance started, but we didn't get where it actually came from.
Yeah, that's
come
the thing.
On.
If you're not going to give us good characters, at least then give us some fun world building. Give us something. This kind of half-assed both of them, because I think the main character was interesting, but I wish they delved a little deeper. I mean, the movie was long enough; they could have done it.
Yeah, it was almost 2 hours, right?
Yeah, I know. It's like an hour and 50 without credits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they started off with having, because it's in it's in the description. The main character is a doctor, a psychiatrist of some sort.
Yeah.
Or a psychologist, I don't know the difference. But she talks to emergency trauma people.
Yeah, they have an emergency psychiatric ward.
Yeah. So she's obviously a clever person. She's studied. She understands emotional distress, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and there's a reason for it.
Yeah, sure. There's a reason for it. But she very quickly descends into not being able to handle it herself.
Yeah, she succumbs to all the signs that she saw in the first lady we saw, the student.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but that's the point.
The girl on the poster, by the way, which I think she should have way more screen time. I love that actress. I've only seen her like one more thing, but she's amazing in that.
That's the first girl, right?
Yeah.
Killed herself. Spoilers,
yeah.
I suppose.
Well, no, that's the traumatic incident.
Right? Oh, sure, yeah.
It's also in like the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Or something.
5-10 minutes, yeah. Yeah, I had no idea who that was. I want
to get her name. Caitlin Stacey.
No,
I like her. I've seen her in like 1 or 2 things, and I like her.
But
yeah, there's too much of a. There's not too much. There's too little of things in this movie.
Yeah,
we're lacking some depth in general, I think.
And we get a lot of scenes, that is showing her going crazy. But there's not enough escalation in the different scenes. Like,
no.
Like, they could have easily cut out the whole cat thing. Like, why?
I kind of liked it, because that was the one, like, truly horrific scene, in my opinion. I mean, the birthday party.
Yeah.
Which, they could have also amped that up a little bit with how the kid reacted. To be honest.
I think it was cool. He was just like, what is this?
Yeah, no, but it felt like, I don't know if the kid wasn't the best actor, perhaps, but I felt like there could have been more. They could have been a bit more. But I did like how that one sort of accumulated, so to speak, and I mean, there are issues into how people react in general in that scene. Like, come on, that's not what you do if something like that happens.
No, I don't think everyone would start screaming and running around.
No, someone would have been like, holy shit, let's help this person.
Yeah.
And someone would have probably been sick.
It was
but no, they're just watching her like, oh, you crazy lady. Yeah, that didn't feel right.
No, so silly. And then...
but I like the impact that scene was supposed to have.
Yeah, sure.
Though it kind of failed.
But then there's there's a bunch of scenes that are just supposed to show like, oh, she's seen something scary, and there's a jump scare, and we move on.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of that, and the actual story of her trying to figure it out, it kind of takes a back seat. Really.
Yes, and it also feels kind of rushed when they do finally go into it.
A lot of it happens in like the last half hour. The first hour, there is a very little like progression of the story.
They even have a repetition in the first hour that they point out themselves. The boyfriend or fiance or whatever, Trevor, he points out, you broke a glass again? Like, yeah, we've had the exact same scene twice now.
Yeah.
Right. Good on you for noticing that in movie character. I want to spoil things though, so
yeah, sure, yeah.
Can we get into details by now?
We're almost at 20 minutes, so from here on out, if you don't want major spoilers for Smile, please turn off the episode now, go and watch the movie, and then come back and watch it again.
Yes.
Spoilers. From now on, spoilers. So
you have been warned.
Yes.
I barely know where to start though, because the whole thing about the mother felt very underutilized and represented, so to speak. Because they mentioned it enough to know that that's obviously what drove an edge between the sisters. You can tell that there's a tension between them.
Yeah.
It's obviously what made Rose decide to work within like psychology.
Yeah.
But they don't really like show us that that's what they don't show us that that's her trauma.
No. Well,
they only tell us that, really.
For a movie like this, I think they show us enough. I'm not expecting, masterful storytelling.
We get told from the her psychiatrist, which also kind of bothers me. I know this is obviously a thing, but when your psychiatrist has a psychiatrist, that feels wrong.
Yeah, but you know what? That's a common thing, actually.
No, of course, because they deal with a lot of traumatic stress.
And a therapist, someone who works with psychology, knows that even if you feel like you're like a well put together and
and you can
still good to talk
yourself
about
from
things,
it. Yeah.
Which
it just irked me a little bit.
Yeah. Like,
but that's where we find out.
I have nothing against psychotherapy or anything like that. But I've never had the urge to talk to someone, especially someone I don't know. That's like, fuck, you're not going to tell you about stuff.
No,
First of all,
that might
there's
be
not that
nice,
much to talk about. Second of all, I'm not going to tell you.
I think that might be nice sometimes.
I don't know.
But
maybe in the future,
doctor,
if I get really fucked up, maybe I'll do it. But for now,
But main character psychologist, her psychologist is the one who tells us that maybe this is all because of the trauma with your mother, and you're like, oh, right.
Yeah, well, we did. That's the first scene in the movie.
Sure, but it only tells us that she found her.
Yeah, but it
doesn't really tell us how traumatic that was for her.
No, but I do think that they use that because that scene turns out it's a dream she's having while she's sleeping on her job as a therapist or a psychologist.
Right,
or
that's true.
So it's like she is, even now, in the middle of a regular day, it's still something she thinks about and dreams about.
Yeah, sure, that's true.
So I think it works. It's not much, but it's at least enough there, for it to work as a catalyst.
But I wanted it to be mentioned more, because, again, when Rosie and her sister are arguing, was it after the party?
After the party, yeah, sure.
She's like, you don't understand how much the stress of mom's condition and what happened to her put on me and blah, blah. But then Holly's like, but you didn't even realize that it was taking a toll on me too, you bitch.
Yeah, they really don't care about fleshing out the sister character, which would have been fun. It should have been, because it's obvious that the movie's about trauma.
Yes, it's about trauma and grief and like handling trauma. Guilt, sort of.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's trauma, yeah.
Yeah, but specifically guilt in this case, I think.
Yeah. But it's kind of a like one-dimensional look at trauma, and they, like we said, they don't go very deep. Like they're only really examining Rosa's side of the traumatic experience. It should have been more fun.
I understand to a point.
Yeah, and I also understand, because then it's easier to shove in a bunch of jump scares. But wouldn't it have been more interesting if this became a story about family dealing with trauma, and her having the sister be more of a driving force in the movie?
However, because the entity or whatever is technically not a physical thing, even though we see it physically manifest even on videotape, it's not actually a physical thing. It is a mental thing.
Yeah.
So this movie, the entire movie, is literally just Rose. This is all from her perspective, even though we see her. Because every scene is Rose. Yeah, there's not a single scene where she's not in it.
That's true. She's in I'm pretty sure that's true. She's in every scene.
Yeah. Or if someone is doing something else, she turns up like a few seconds later.
Yeah, exactly.
So it is everything is from her point of view, which is why, in my head, this is all taking place in her mind, more or less. Like, obviously it's happening, but we're just seeing it from her mind.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
So...
Yeah, that makes sense then, I suppose.
It makes sense, because she's obviously focusing on the shit that's happening to her. She doesn't care about her sister's trauma from it, because in her mind, her sister just left.
Yeah. She didn't have any trauma.
No. But yeah, if we've had more of a external viewpoint, it would have been more interesting to put in more of everybody else's reaction to it.
That's true. Yeah, but that's what makes a movie interesting, because now we only had one perspective.
Yes.
And that's why it got kind of boring, especially for such a long movie.
They could have, though, even though they used it the one perspective, they could have used her psychology brain to start putting herself in other people's point of view.
Yeah.
Because she's supposed to be this smart person who knows how to read people,
Yeah.
So they could have at least gone like, you know what? You're right. I didn't consider your trauma or whatever. They could have explored that more.
Yeah.
But no. They spent...
Instead we get a bunch
way
of
too much
dream sequences. Yeah. There's too many times she wakes up and like, oh, it was only a dream. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
You do that once, maybe twice, not like 4 or 5 times like they do here.
Half of the scares are in the dream sequences.
Yeah. Yeah, that's...
I don't know if I want to call them dream, but like blackouts or something? I don't know.
Yeah. And you know what?
Because they do mention that the other dude, the Munoz, whatever his name was.
The teacher who killed himself with a hammer, yeah.
He had the same, like... he like blacked out. He said he did things, but he didn't remember doing other things. Much like she obviously killed the cat and packed it in a box.
Yeah.
But she didn't remember that.
Yeah, and we don't get any hints of that. I wish there was like hints of it.
Yeah.
Other than if not showing up for dinner, like we don't get any hints that she did it. She should have been like, "Oh, why is there blood on my face?" or something, you know. And we don't really notice it. But then it's just like, "Oh my god, she killed the cat."
As soon as the kid like kind of first I was like, "Oh no, the kid's not gonna like it." And he looks weirded out. I'm like, "That's not liking it." She wrapped the cat.
Yeah.
And then he pulls it out by the skin. I'm like, why did you pull it out, dude?
Yeah. That was funny. She's like, yeah.
And her reaction, though, I do love her reaction because she's already under some sort of psychological stress. And her baby cat is dead. And it's traumatic because she gets in this setting where she's obviously not comfortable.
Yeah.
And it just gets too much. I like that. That was a nice touch.
As a cat mom, did it affect you?
No. Not as much as The Innocents.
Oh, right. Yeah. Oh,
check out that episode.
Cats. Yeah, check out that episode.
Because it felt like, oh, first of all, we didn't get to see the death. We just saw the dead thing.
Yeah.
Which is like, oh, shit. But I understood how much it hurt her to see that.
Yeah, she played it very good. And her, like, mustache.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great name for a cat. Mustache.
That is actually a good name.
Yeah.
And on top of that, her falling into the table and still no one's like, oh shit, should I help her? No, she's just got glass in her forearms. We're gonna stand around in a circle and stare at the crazy lady.
Oh my god, she's crazy. She tripped. Help her.
Like, even her sister should have reacted, oh shit, my sister's bleeding.
Yeah.
Even if she was weird and scared the child, and they obviously have a strained relationship, wouldn't you just, oh my god, you're bleeding. Let me help you get out of the glass.
Something? Nope.
No. Also, I hated the sister's husband. He was terrible.
Yeah, he was a fucking asshole. And he was like, I don't think you should, when she comes to talk to the sister, he's like, I don't think you should be here. And I was like, fuck you. She's here to talk to her sister. That has nothing to do with you. Even if this is your house and whatever, they're blood. You're just married into the family.
Even at the dinner, he's wearing this like polo t-shirt and a fucking vest of some sort, looking like some dad at Costco.
Asshole, yeah.
And then the other ones are just at least coming up in like office smart clothes,
Yeah.
No, he walks in with something that you would wear to a trip to Target.
Yeah. And I don't know why I had that strong reaction, but I just instinctively hated that guy for some reason.
Yeah, no, me too. Something about his face.
Scenes, I don't know.
He's very punchable, as someone has said.
About
other
punchable
people.
Face. Yeah, that they used to say that about Miles Teller, actually.
Right.
Punchable face, which I never understood. He's such a sweet boy. Why would you punch him?
This dude has a punchable face.
Yeah, I want to punch him right in his goatee.
Might not be the face. It might just be that he's terrible character. But I don't know.
Yeah. Like I said, that was like my strongest reaction. I think. Yeah. When he says, I don't think you should be talking to my wife. I was like, fuck you. Like, I had to stop myself screaming in the lunchroom.
What do you have to do with that? Let your wife decide on her own if she wants to talk to her sister.
Her sister.
Yeah. It's one thing if it was his sister.
Yeah.
I can sort of understand him being an asshole.
Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about... Well, it's going to be kind of hard because you haven't seen it. But let's talk about how this is basically It Follows.
Well, it is. The only thing I know about It Follows is that it works like an STD, right?
Yes.
You contract it from someone, and then you give it to someone else to get rid of it.
Yes.
They compare it to an STD, even though that's not how STDs work. You should know that.
Well, sort of. If you have sex with someone who has herpes,
yeah, but
they
you don't
give
get
you
rid
herpes. Huh?
Yeah, but you don't get rid of it by giving it to someone else. That's what I meant.
That's true. Yeah.
You can't just get rid of sexual transmitted diseases by giving it to someone else. Sorry.
I never thought of that. That's a terrible message from that movie.
Yes.
Yeah, if you want to get rid of a chlamydia, have sex with someone else. No, kids.
No, that's not how it works.
Get a cream, write it out, and then it's gone.
Yeah.
And then use contraception. Anyway, yes.
Like in It Follows, you get it from someone else. You can give it to someone else.
Yeah. This is
in this case
though, because
you don't really get to choose who you give it to. First of all,
no, and it's also you still have to die. In It Follows, you have a choice.
Exactly.
you either give it to someone or you die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
However,
Which is a more interesting well, they kind of have that in this one, but it's never like, because you can't kill someone.
In this one, you can give it away, but then you have to kill someone. Either you die or someone else dies.
Yeah, which, I mean, that is the same in It Follows. If you have sex with someone, but they die before they have sex with someone.
Oh, it comes back to you, right?
It comes back to you. Then it backtracks. That's what happens in the movie. She.
Well, we don't know if no one witnesses the murder. We don't know if it transfers.
Yeah. That's true.
Because he mentioned that the guy in prison, he does say that, well, someone has to watch you kill them to transfer whatever it is. However, we do realize that doesn't work, because she still ends up being crazy after she kills someone. Oh wait, no, she never did it. No,
that was another dream. Yeah, she was sleeping in the car. Stupid dream sequences. Yeah. But in It Follows, it's kind of a funny scene because they're at their wits' end, and she's just like, I don't really want to, have someone else's death on my conscience, but I don't want to die. So she just, waves to a bunch of guys in a boat, like, hey, I can have sex with you. And she just jumps in the boat and have sex with, all of them. Gets off the boat. So
she doesn't know which one has it.
No, they're all in the boat. But she gets off the boat. Problem is, the thing, it, just gets on the boat and kills them and then comes after her again. Because they're out in the ocean. So they're just an easy target, because that thing just walks on the bottom and just jumps into the boat. Because it's like,
it's a monster, obviously.
Yeah, it's in a person disguise, but it's still a monster. So it just there's a scene in that movie where instead of walking around a house, it just walks over a house, falls off the roof, but since it's a monster, it just stands up and keeps walking. Yeah.
Kind of like the therapist in this one, where she just walks straight over the couch without being affected at all.
Yeah.
Weird scene. Good one, but weird.
Yeah. I wasn't a huge fan of It Follows. It was it got so much praise when it came out. And I guess that was because it was one of the first, proper elevated horror movies back in the mid 2010s.
Isn't it someone in a wheelchair that gets the thing? That one, or do I confuse it with something else?
No, she's tied up in a wheelchair by her boyfriend, right. Because he doesn't want her to escape.
Because he wants to get rid of it. Yeah.
But she does, and we never see him again, so he got away. Where was I?
Sorry, I got you off track there. It was the first elevated horror.
Oh, right. So yeah, people fucking loved that movie. And when I saw it was just it's not really that interesting, because you have sex with someone, it starts following you, but it's never running after you. And I mean, there are instances when they get really close and there's literally it's dragging her by the hair and they manage to fight it off, even though they can't see it, only she can see it. But for
do they ever explain what it is?
No, that's the thing. They don't explain, because it's supposed to be it's elevated, so that it's a metaphor. It's not actually about
what is it a metaphor for?
Well,
because if it is for STDs, then they're fucking wrong.
No, I think it's not specifically STDs. I think it's
consequences of having sex.
Yeah, sex. Not because, well, I was going to say the dangers of promiscuity, but it's wow, that's a very conservative view of sex. But maybe that's part of it. But also, I think it's also just an interesting concept, because it is interesting, because that's where the it works better than the smile in Smile. Because all the time in the background, you're always, as soon as you know what to look for, you're constantly looking everywhere. Where is the one person that sticks out in the crowd? It's
that is the it.
Yeah, and there are scenes where none of the characters who are involved notice it, but you can see that fucking bastard, that's the it. Because you can see it sticks out.
There's something different about it. Something different,
and it starts walking towards them. You're
yeah, we didn't have that in this one.
But then it just cuts, because they leave, and the thing just walks, slowly walks, so you can basically walk away from it.
I guess eventually it will actually haunt you properly.
Yeah, I mean,
hunt you, I suppose.
You can't sleep more than an hour. It's gonna get you. When you're sleeping, so there's that problem. But also there is a very easy way to get rid of it, and that is to have sex with someone.
Yeah, and I mean, technically, if you think about it, especially nowadays, now we're talking about It Follows, but whatever.
Yeah, I know.
Everyone has sex with people.
Yeah.
Just, just have sex. Who cares?
And I mean, even if you're like, oh, but it's not easy. Hey, you know what? There are prostitutes.
Yeah.
And you know what? They have sex with a lot of other people, so you don't have to worry. Like, they're gonna get rid of it pretty quickly. I mean, specifically, now this is that kind of turns a prostitute lady into like a
prostitute lady. There are male prostitutes too.
Yeah, I know, but a prostitute person.
Yeah.
Kind of turn them into like a pariah, but like even if like you have sex with a prostitute has sex with someone else, they die, and it comes back to the prostitute. Well, the prostitute is just gonna have sex with someone else without even noticing anyway. So then
the prostitute's never gonna die
because that's what they do. Like that's their job. They're gonna do it every day.
Yeah, more or less.
So
they'd probably be fine.
Yeah.
However, I don't know if that's feeding the entity or something.
Yeah. No, but it's
unless they come up
basically.
Unless they come up with a better way to like end the loop.
Yeah, which that is the problem. They don't. Spoilers for It Follows.
No, I figured.
Yeah, they try to get rid of it. And in the end, there is this half-assed message. I think also, like, you shouldn't have, like, casual relationships. Because she actually, like, they don't really say it outright, but she, like, the movie ends with... Because she has one, like, friend-zoned guy who's obviously into her. And he's like... I mean, it's even to the point... Because he's obviously not in love, but into her, attracted to her.
Infatuated,
yeah. And at one point, when they're getting kind of desperate, he's even like, I could just take over for you. Because he just wants to have sex with her.
Oh, dude,
which is, it's nice, but it's also like, bruh, don't.
It's in this case, it's both like chivalrous and douchebag.
Yeah, it's chivalrous. It's very, like, it's very creepy because he's taking advantage of the situation.
Yeah.
And it's also dumb because, like, bro,
you die.
Really want a demon following you for some pussy? Come on, bro. It's not worth it.
She can't. It's not that good.
It's not that
Nothing's
good.
that good.
Nothing's that good. Yeah, exactly. But, you get it in that situation.
However...
She realizes, she's just, don't.
No. We do have the same issue here a little bit.
Yes, let's get back to Smile. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, because we get the whole, like, we get a sort of a solution. However, it's only a solution for you. You can survive if you kill someone else.
Yes, and then she figures that if I just stay away from people, it can't kill me.
Well, I mean, it could kill you as long as you don't kill someone else. Right?
If no one is there, it won't be transferred.
Right. No, that's true.
Because you have to witness the trauma of watching someone die.
See, my solution from the beginning was just kill yourself. I know that's not what you want to do, but in that situation...
Yeah.
No, I know. But if you're concerned about... You don't want to kill someone else. You obviously don't want to transfer the thing, because she realizes that I'm gonna isolate myself, then I can't give it to someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, but obviously it's gonna fuck with you, because we know it already does that. It's gonna make you believe you're with someone else, or believe you're safe.
Yeah,
and then it's gonna make you kill yourself in front of someone. So, kill yourself while you're alone.
Yeah, but don't you think it's gonna, like, to try and, like, stop you from doing
her?
That? Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe.
That's
probably.
That's also the thing, which is also kind of a thing in It Follows. We don't really know the rules of this demon or this curse. Like...
No.
Because that's... Yeah.
Because to be fair, she witnessed more or less a suicide... as a 10-year-old, right? She watched her mother die.
Yeah, but her mother wasn't cursed by the smile.
No, but the smile thing must have come from somewhere. And in my mind, it's just everyone who witnesses a traumatic death like that has to smile after them.
Yeah, that's where the trauma.
We need more lore on
doesn't
this
really
one.
work. Like, so, because this only happens to some people, but all the other people who carries trauma
Witness
don't
death.
have to worry about the smile curse. It's only some people. I mean, that works as a movie monster, But as an allegory for trauma,
it doesn't.
Not really. It's too specific.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also they like put in too much of the not just trauma but guilt in Rosie or Rose.
Yeah.
Our main character.
Yeah, but
because it feels like
what I said in the beginning, that her guilt is the traumatic experience. Like
sure, but they actually put trauma on her as well.
Yeah, sure.
They put physical trauma in her life to trigger it, but she should already be haunted by it based on what else they're putting in it. Like the death of her mother is the guilt, so guilt can't be the reason she's getting haunted because she already had that. So fixing her guilt with her mother can't be the solution either, because that's not the reason for Smile.
No, sure, yeah. And that's
what I'm saying. There's two different things here. They're trying to deal with her trauma and guilt of losing her mother when she was a child, but then they throw in this whole physical entity Smile bit, which is only triggered when her client dies.
Yeah,
client,
patient, I suppose.
Patient, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I mean, where the allegory for trauma doesn't really work.
Yeah,
but I get what they're going for.
Sure, but I mean, the solution is terrible. So I mean,
yeah,
you can't get away from it. It will consume you, and you will die. Is that the solution?
Exactly. Since they're trying to do something deeper with trauma, it should have been a better ending than, oh no, it's impossible. You can never escape it. You're gonna die. It's like, no. Yeah, some people succumb to their trauma and kill themselves, but there are so many people who live with it, and it's a part of your life, but you learn to deal with it. That should have been the ending here. She should have learned to deal with it, and thereby
they almost had
rid
that
of the Smile. Yeah, they almost had that.
Because they had the whole thing with the mother and in the old house and the burning and saying like, no, you cannot control me anymore and whatever. It's almost Gandalf going, you shall not pass. But it felt like that scene for some reason. They were trying to channel that emotion.
Yeah.
But then they like,
that's a fake out. Yeah, she's just gonna kill herself. And of course, perfect timing. Kyle Goner steps in and sees it, so now he's gonna die too. Yeah, and that's also the typical, very like cruel ending. Like most horror movies have that kind of ending, but these are the ones where they lull you into a false sense of security of like, yeah, she made it, and then she's like, literally seconds later, like, nope. She's dead, and here's the movie. Credits. It's like, what the fuck? There's no like,
especially when you're
care and consideration in the end. Yeah, it's like she died. And then it's
especially over. When you're dealing with something as traumatic as self-harm and abuse. I suppose drug abuse was the mother's problem, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it better to like paint that in a good light in the end, like that you can survive this?
Yeah.
This just makes it even more like horrible. Like, yeah, you know what? Fuck you, people who are traumatic, who have trauma in your life. You can't survive that shit. Go kill yourself.
You know what would have been a better ending if she actually, she like no, no. You said Gandalf. I'm gonna say Gollum. When he says, leave now and never come back in Two Towers. That's basically what happens. Yeah. It should have been that. And she's like, I'm free, Kyle Goner comes, what happens? I'm fine now. And they leave together.
They ride off into the sunset.
Yeah, no, and then you see like 6 months later or something, she's at her job. She's dealing with something like, oh, I'm so scared, I'm going to kill myself, blah, blah, blah. Don't worry. We all go through stuff like this. And then she just, either the patient or she just looks into another room and there's someone smiling at her very menacingly, like this unnatural smile. And she's like, and she just closes her eyes and then she looks again. The smile is gone.
And they're gone.
Yeah,
because,
like
she's locked it up.
Yeah, but it's never really, you're gonna have to keep dealing with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been
better. You can't just, like she tried, you can't just burn it down and get rid of it.
Yeah, it's always going to be there. It's part of it.
It's always going to be there, but you need to learn how to handle it.
Exactly. That would have been awesome. Just
yeah, because, again, that would have been an uplifting
but still creepy ending
for someone, but still creepy ending for someone who is actually dealing with trauma in their life. this just gives you like the middle finger, literally.
Yeah, like, fuck you, you're fucked up, that means you're gonna die, you're gonna hang
Yeah,
yourself.
either you die or you kill yourself. Whatever, man, we don't care.
Yeah.
Like, come on, dude, this is
terrible.
a sensitive subject.
Yeah, you know what?
The least you can do is give it a good solution or something.
You know, a movie that does the exact same ending, but they do it, like, it works in that one, is Drag Me to Hell. Do you remember that movie?
Yes.
God damn, that's a good movie. Oh, I should watch that again. It's been so long. Sam Raimi, like, came back after, like, years away from directing, and was like, I'm gonna make it.
I don't remember. How does that end?
She becomes
Oh,
cursed.
she thinks she's done with it.
Yeah, because she becomes cursed by the gypsy lady. But she manages, like, she can put the curse back on the body, actually, on the dead body. She doesn't have to put it on the person. If she has, like, a personal object of her.
She puts back the button, right?
She has a button from her coat. She's like,
that the lady ripped off and cursed, basically.
Yeah, I give you back your curse, basically. But
and everything's fine and dandy.
Yeah, but then it turns out...
Until Justin Long brings it back to her.
Yeah, because she had picked the wrong button.
Yeah.
It was one of the buttons from her coat. So she's like...
It was a psychological thing, though. She thought she was safe, so she was safe until she saw the physical object again.
Yeah, and he's like, "Hey, you. By the way, I found this great button. Yet you forgot this one." And she's like, "No!" And then
that's when it drags her to hell.
Yeah, arms shoot out of the rubble and literally drags her into hell in front of his eyes, and she starts burning like, "No, help me!"
That is just such a good movie.
Because his eye just starts, like, the shock. He's in shock when he's crying. And the movie just cuts there. Now that's great. But it also works because that's a horror comedy. It's not dealing with, like, heavy subjects. It's funny. No. Yeah.
And it's not, even if it is technically, I guess, about guilt, sort of.
Sort of, but it's not in such a heavy way.
Yeah, because it's not the guilt of, like, watching someone die or letting someone die. It's the guilt of, like, sorry, it's my job, I can't.
Yeah, it's the devil, it's possessed goats, it's gypsy curses, it's silly, it's funny. And then an ending like that works, because you're kind of like, yeah, well, you were still cursed, bitch. Here you go. Yeah. We're literally going to drag you to hell now. Yeah.
Justice will do that to you, I suppose.
Yeah, I got to watch that again. Anyway.
Oh, shit, yeah. That was part of his, like, devil trilogy, right? That never became a trilogy?
I don't know. I never heard that. Really?
Wasn't it supposed to be that one? And isn't it? I might have confused it. I'm sorry, but the elevator movie. What's it called? Devil?
Oh yeah, Devil. No.
No, I'm confusing it, right?
Yes. Sam Raimi made Drag Me to Hell. You're thinking M. Night Shyamalan, who produced.
He did a trilogy, but the Devil.
He was gonna do. Devil, the elevator movie, was part of his Night Chronicles,
right?
Which was gonna be like a bunch of movies that he produced for up and coming horror filmmakers. Right. Yeah. But yeah,
I just felt that one fit the theme probably. So I was like bunching them together.
Yeah, that could have worked. But yeah. What was I gonna say? Devil tanked, so they never continued with any more Night Chronicles.
I don't understand, to be honest.
Me either. That movie's great. I mean,
it's such. Have we talked about that? I don't remember. No, I don't think we have.
No,
we haven't done an episode of that.
It came out way before we started doing the podcast. So
we might do that.
We should.
We might do Drag Me to Hell as well.
We should do Drag Me to Hell as well because that's fucking awesome.
I need to write this down somewhere.
Yeah. Oh.
Honestly, I'm done with Smile. If I'm being honest, I didn't like Smile. It failed in its message because I don't know if they were trying to be like. I want to say campy, but it's not campy.
No. They're trying to be somewhere in the middle of just a silly popcorn scare movie and also do something more serious. But like we talk, if you try to do both, you're gonna do both half-assed instead of doing either good. Yeah, that's a problem that keeps popping up with movies like this.
Commit a little bit more to one of them.
Exactly. If you're gonna, they should have gone full jump scare. That would have been more fun then, or gone full elevated horror and just be like a psychological horror movie.
Yeah, but no, they half-assed both of them.
Exactly. But this is still far from the worst movie I've seen this year.
Sure, yeah. I mean,
Like, because I've been watching a lot of horror movies, especially now in October. So maybe I'm like a little like numb. Because I just saw your score. You gave it a 1?
yeah.
Jesus, yeah.
I might appreciate it more if I watched it again in a better setting or whatever.
Yeah, because I haven't rated it yet on Letterboxd, but I was gonna give it like a 2, maybe even 2.5, but a 1, Jesus Christ. But hey, man,
Yeah, I might stretch to like 1.5, but that's about it, to be honest.
Yeah, because I mean,
I need to check like my lowest rated. Yeah, no, I have worse movies I've seen this year that were produced this year or released this year.
Yeah, I've seen some real stinkers.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre is one of them.
Oh my god, yes. Just here in October, I have Jeepers Creepers Reborn, fucking terrible. War Hunt, which is not really a horror movie, it's more of a spooky action movie. But then I saw this movie Stalker, which that sucked because I follow the guy who wrote that movie on Twitter. And he's like he's a real nice guy, and it was so cool to like follow, because like I followed him long enough that like since the script was written, before they even had a deal for actually making the movie, and I've been like following him on Twitter through the making of the movie basically, and I was like, oh, that's so awesome, I gotta watch this movie. And I saw it and I was like, oh shit. It wasn't that good. So I haven't told him on Twitter, but I gave it a pretty bad review on Letterboxd. I wanted to like it, but it didn't work. And then, of course, Grim Cuddy. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, that one.
Like I said, The Accursed was pretty bad. I gave that a 1. Ooh, you know what I saw more? Because I'd heard of it earlier this year, and I was like, I'm not going to watch that. But then October came around, and I saw Bring It On, Cheer or Die.
Oh yeah, I've seen that pop up some places. And it's like, what is that shit?
It's a horror sequel to the Bring It On franchise.
I might check that out because it sounds kind of fun. It's campy, right?
For a PG-13 horror movie, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, it feels like an 80s slasher movie with less blood. It's still pretty bad, but
yeah.
Should we check out some professional reviews?
Yes, because
to wrap this up.
Like the non-professional reviews, I don't think they're gonna give you much, because I just checked Letterboxd. Like everyone gave it about a 3-star sort of.
Yeah.
One of them is just like Jumpscare the movie. I'm like,
yeah,
but
is that
that's not a review.
Bad? I don't know. Yeah, exactly. And like you said, it's a 6.9 out of 10 for like user reviews on IMDb and a 68 in Metascore. So audiences and critics alike, man, they kind of they agree, which doesn't happen very often.
No,
I gotta check Rotten Tomatoes because we don't usually use that because I don't think it's as good of an aggregate.
No,
but usually the differences are bigger there. So let's see what they say. I won't read any, but no, it's the same there. It has a higher score because the tomato meter is dumb, but it has a 79 from critics and a 78 from audience. But let's read some. Let's see what the oh my god, William Bibbiani from The Wrap gave it a 92 out of 100.
What the hell?
He wrote, "This isn't just a great horror story; it's genuinely scary. You may be able to recognize familiar elements in its DNA. But it's mutated into something distinct and unsettling. What a showcase of shocks! What a devilish debut!"
It's kind of copy paste, dude. It's not that special.
Like we said, it's basically it follows.
Yeah, just another thing. It's not sex. It's smiles. And murder. Or suicide, I suppose.
Same thing here. Tasha Robinson for Polygon. Hey, you can't really trust Polygon. 87.
Wait,
no matter how.
Polygon? Why can't we trust them?
Because they yeah. I shouldn't say that because then I'm gonna be branded as a Gamergate guy, but whatever. It's one of those like clickbaity video game journalist sites.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about that. Anyway, no matter how excessively the legitimate scares pile up, they're startling and convincing. The editing and music are impressive. Yes, I was going to say that. I did like the weird, like, noise music. I know you don't like that.
Yeah,
but
sure. It was fine in this one, actually.
Instead of music, it was like weird sounds. I loved that.
Though, I don't know if the sound quality was terrible for how I watched it, but I felt like I missed something in certain clips. Like, there was supposed to be a sound there that I didn't really catch. Or maybe it's just that I have fucking terrible hearing.
Yeah, because I used headphones since I was around people.
No, I did too.
Oh, okay.
I used my big ones, though. Perhaps they're not as good as the ones I use when we record. I don't know.
Yeah. I thought the music sounded well.
Because when she recorded backed on that recording of the suicide,
yeah, you didn't hear it.
It whispers like Laura or something, but I don't know why.
You heard Rosie.
Oh, is that what it says?
Yeah, and then of course Rosie when the face appeared next to her. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That was one of the jump scares that got me, and I was like, "Fuck you."
I think that was the one that worked for me.
Yeah. Anyway, the editing and music are impressively tuned for maximum impact whenever the slow burning tension resolves with an abrupt, ugly surprise. That's what I don't understand. Here, people are like praising jump scares. A few years ago, people hated jump scares.
Yeah.
But both of these reviews now are saying, like, ooh, it's actually good jump scares.
But like you said, we haven't had good jump scares in a while because we only had elevator horror, which doesn't use jump scares the same way.
No, I guess. But that shouldn't mean people like it. It's like, oh, we haven't been robbed in a while. It's so nice to have people point a gun in my face again. Like, what? Anyway, see some middling reviews. Ooh, Katie Rife. I usually don't agree with her, but here I kind of do. I should give it a 63 out of 100.
For Roger Ebert?
Yes.
Ebert?
Ebert.
How do you say that?
Ebert. Sadly, despite a compelling lead and strong craft behind the camera, the color palette, yeah, exactly, in shades of lavender, pink, teal, and grey, is capably chosen and very of the moment. Smile is diminished by the sheer fact that it's not as fresh a concept.
Yeah.
Exactly, that's the problem. There was an idea here, like people pointed out, with the color grading and the weird music and the trying to tell something, say something important about trauma or whatever. But then it's just a jump scare movie. That's where they went in the wrong direction. So I think, just like a lot of people have been saying with Halloween Ends, where they're like, no, it's actually, there's a good movie in there, like, and all the stuff with Corey Cunningham is really good, actually. And like,
sure,
I agree. The problem is that they crammed it into a terrible Halloween movie. That's the problem.
They added too much other shit that didn't need to be there.
And I don't think it's good enough to dismiss all the terrible stuff. And the same here, like, yeah, all the like technical stuff, like the music and the color palettes. All that was cool. Even some of the cinematography was great, but it's all in service of this trashy popcorn horror. Like, why? Yeah. It's not enough to look away from the terribleness. Not for me, at least.
No. And I this might sound mean for some reason, but I did not like the main actress. I didn't think she wasn't the thing that like pushed the story forward. She wasn't leading lady material.
I don't know. I kind of liked her. I liked how she actually went through kind of a transformation. Another visual thing. Like, she started out very like, professional looking.
Yeah, but that's makeup and shit. That's not the acting.
No. But it's it's part of visual storytelling. She has her hair pulled in a tight bun, and she's very like uptight,
put together,
professional, put together. And the more the story goes, in the end, her hair is all ratty. Her face is all pale, and she has her red circles from crying, and she's wearing like baggy clothes. Like,
sure,
it was a gradual thing,
but it wasn't a strong performance.
No, she was fine. I think she was fine.
Yeah. That's the thing. Just apart from Kyle Gallagher, I can't remember his name for some reason. Gallner. I want to say Gallagher for some reason.
No.
every actor, there's sure. Cal Penn is also someone we recognize. But most of the actors are not like. It's like they couldn't hire the high caliber actors they wanted, so they just took the cheaper versions or something.
Yeah, well, that's because they probably had a lower budget. So yeah.
And also, it's the writer and director's first full length film, and he only has 2 short films under his belt.
He has nothing else?
Nope.
No writing or producing or nothing?
No, he's done his own stuff. He's done The Hind Behind and Laura Hasn't Slept.
Huh. Yeah.
He has Thank You on The Night Sitter and Silk. Which are also, like, he's a Kickstarter donor on one of them, and the other one is just a special thanks for a short movie.
Yeah. Then he's probably... obviously...
Someone mentioned that he, someone saw Laura Hasn't Slept and loved it, and they're, pushing this to the front. Let's get this into a full-length feature, basically.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Someone saw it short and, you need to make a movie for us. Yeah, that makes sense. That's the kind of...
build
that's
on
the kind of,
this
American...
one that you worked on.
Huh?
Dream.
Yeah,
they wanted him to build on Laura Hasn't Slept, apparently.
Oh, okay.
If that's true, I don't know. That's what I read or heard or whatever.
I just gotta read. This is actually this is what I thought the most of the reviews were going to be, because it has one negative review, which is kind of funny because the jump is pretty big from the worst middle review, which is 50 out of 100, so straight down the middle. It then jumps down to a 38. Associated Press Jay Coyle wrote, "It should surprise no one that a movie marketed with creepy smiling fans at MLB games." Oh yeah, did you see that on Twitter? People photographing people in crowds just sitting and smiling for 30-40 minutes.
I thought it was a weird PR stunt.
It was it was a PR stunt. They were
I know. I was like, that is just weird. We know it's for the movie Smile. Come on.
But some people didn't.
No, I know they're stupid.
Yeah, I'm gonna quote Mr. Plinkett again. Most people are dumb.
Yeah,
they didn't get it. Anyway,
I gotta say we were both probably dumb for a little bit, because I just read a spoiler trivia that actually made a little bit of sense.
Oh?
Why only certain people are susceptible to the Smile entity?
Yeah?
It's because they have already witnessed the death of a loved one, and they are traumatized by it.
Yeah,
That's why the actual suicide in front of them will attach the Smile entity to them.
I was thinking of that they're already weakened from earlier trauma. Yeah.
Yeah, because Rose had her mother, obviously. Yeah. Laura, the girl who kills herself in front of Rose, mentioned her seeing her grandfather die.
Yeah.
When she was a child. And the widow of Gabriel, the Gabriel dude, says he struggled with the death of his brother or something.
Yeah. Okay. Since they didn't dig in too much of the Kyle Goner character, I don't even know what his name was in the movie.
Has he witnessed the death of a loved one? Will this attach itself to him?
Yeah. I'm sure some people say, yeah, because he's a cop, he's seen a bunch of terrible stuff.
Yeah, but that's not it. It has to be a loved one.
Yeah. Specifically in the movie, he seems to be pretty put together as a person.
Yeah.
So does it stop there, maybe? Because then it's kind of a happy ending. Sort of.
Yeah.
Interesting. Still, not good. I'm just gonna finish this. It should surprise no one that a movie marketed with creepy smiling fans at MLB games might not actually have genuine concerns about pain and healing on its mind. Exactly. But it still makes Smile a cynical and shallow piece of work, unlikely to put a you-know-what on too many faces. Yeah, I mean the Smile. Yeah. That's kind of what we... it's not good enough to actually handle a heavy subject like trauma.
No.
But I think that's going to have to be it. Unless you want to add something?
No.
Yeah?
No, I'm good. This wasn't the best movie I've seen.
No.
And it's barely, I'm probably not going to rewatch it unless I feel like I have to give it justice to see it in a better setting.
Yeah, I'm not going to rewatch it, but I will say, hey, if you're really clamoring for a mid-2000s jump scare movie, and you've watched Lights Out and The Conjuring 10 times over, hey, watch this.
Check it out.
You're gonna get scared, so...
Probably.
Yeah. Do it. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to check out patreon.com/nomagazine. For just $3 a month, you get exclusive episodes, commentary tracks. You get to tell us what movies we talk about. Please, we need audience suggestions. And and you support independent podcasting. So check that out. And also, if you just want to support us with the free episodes, leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcast. Follow us on Spotify, subscribe on YouTube, all that jazz. And we will see you in the next episode. But until then, have a good one.
Bye.
The Spoilercast is part of Please Don't Make a Scene. It is hosted by Tobias Vedén and Rebecca Vedén. Produced and directed by Tobias Vedén. Executive producer is Annika Vedén and Laura Kinney. Also a huge shout out to all our patrons. Laura Kinney, Mom, Dad, Mom and Mac. If you want to join our Patreon, check us out on patreon.com/don'tmakeascene. Get exclusive episodes, commentary tracks, and much, much more. Support independent podcasting.